Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Well, yes, indeed, focusing on security. Well, Mr. Innocent Chukwuma joins us now. He's a criminologist and he used to be with it. Oh, no, he is with the Ford Foundation. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thanks a lot.
Well, it's a very disturbing scenario that just played out there, and then some of the headlines this morning also focused on some aspects of that. But you know, the thing that's worrisome about this is that it keeps going on, and you ask yourself, look, do you understand what this is about? Because many don't.
You mean in relation to the Boko Haram or the general security situation in the country?
Even the Benue and Nasarawa also playing itself out.
Well, these are social violence that are not detached from the socio-economic conditions in the society. And the root causes are not things that we woke up and discovered. They've been festering over the past 16 years or so of elected civilian government, which ironically has been a period of time the country has witnessed the most growth, the largest growth, whether in terms of the size of the economy. Oil was, at an all-time rate. Even the so-called oil boom of the 1970s never rose up to 100. It was actually $40 per barrel. But within this period, with all these resources that we had, it never impacted the real sector of the economy. It never impacted the livelihood of the people. Inequality grew the most. I mean, it was like a case of people living in two different countries. If you consider the condition of those who are affluent and the rest of the people, the growth was also jobless. Within this period, through the population of young people we have in the country, Nigeria, the median age in Nigeria today is 19 years. And you have the level of unemployment rate among young people is 36%. And that is those who are actively looking for job and not finding. If you add it to the 25% that have withdrawn from economic activities, that is, they have searched and given up hope that, you know what, no matter whatever I do, I'm never going to get jobs. So you'll be looking at something above 50%, and no country will have that level of youth withdrawal from economic activities and expect it to be stable. And then you add it to the challenges we are having on the security front, whether it's in terms of the regular police or the military. You and I are regaled every day about how under-equipped and what corruption has done to that. All these come together to give a flame to the level of social violence in the country. And it's not going to abate soon, no matter what the current government tries to do. It's something that takes time to...
Let's look at our approach to it all. That those who think that, well, as it is, the way it's going on right now, I mean, security, trying to sort it out, it looks to them as though we are approaching or attacking the symptom.
I agree
the main cause.
I agree with them, because there's a way in which the security situation in the country, especially the Boko Haram insurgency, has been communicated as something soldiers alone do, something security forces alone do, and the rest of us should continue with business as usual. But we are in an active war situation. Parts of the country are under insurgency control. We have the military supporting regular police operations in about 33 out of the 36 states of the Federation. With that kind of scenario, the whole country should be involved in all of this. And it's not something you respond to by simply increasing the capacity of security forces. You also have to address the socio-economic underpinnings of the crisis. A lot of people have talked about a comprehensive strategy in response to terrorism that includes protection of civilians, addressing educational needs, socio-economic foundations of all of these crises. But it's almost becoming a chicken and egg situation, because the counter-argument is what can you do within an environment of active war, active attacks and all that. So I guess it's not an easy place that government has found itself, and what it requires is a communication strategy that explains to people what is really happening. And it's not something you put a deadline to how soon you can solve it, because you really don't control all the variables.
But the other aspect of this is that, I mean, we've seen other countries, when this kind of thing happens, how they respond to it is something that other countries should study and say, okay, look, how do we internalize ours and respond as such? In terms of our policing here, has anything changed, even now that we have this on our hands?
Well, that was what I alluded to, not in a fundamental way. But again, not because the people who are out there do not know what to do, or that if properly resourced, they cannot do it. But we're dealing with a situation of severe under-resourcing, lack of motivation, counter messaging. On the one hand, we expect people to go into this battle very motivated to do the work. On the other hand, due to the important work that is being done, I must say important with the underline in dealing with what led to the sorry sight or situation we have today in relation to corruption in the past. We're dealing with cases of those who stole resources that should have gone into equipping this. But in that, managing that anti-corruption war, we are almost in a situation where we're treated like an O.J. Simpson kind of soap opera. Every day you get one information or the other, or the money made for this equipment was stolen. And the people who are out there in the field who need all the motivation to do this work, when they read all of this, they wonder what is happening. So we are getting to an almost Jonathan-like situation where doubt is beginning to creep in, both in the public space and in the military themselves, about our willingness to resource them. So it requires a communication strategy that say, hey, we're dealing with those who stole this money, but we have to manage the communication in such a way that it will not undermine the morale of all those who are doing the fight.
When you talk about managing information, because that seems to be like a perennial issue in the country, managing information about security, information about corruption, information about even the economy. What exactly are you talking about? Can you break it down? Because Nigerians want to know what's going on in government. They want to know what's going on, because they know what's going on around them. But they want to know what's going on in the corridors of power that they can't get access to.
I'll break it down for you. Let's backtrack to how, what brought us to this current situation. In 2009, there was a major security operation against the Boko Haram insurgency. And you would expect, before you deploy to such a situation, there will be a communication strategy that unifies dissemination of information, that everybody understands. If we are going after the leadership of this group, is it to engage them in active combat and be done with it? Or is intention to go in there to get them so that through trial, we get real information that will enable us deal with this once and for all. But it appears that when they went into it, the military's own approach is to get him quickly arrested and handed over to the police. And for one thing or the other, the individual was killed. And that the footage that came out of it was a major mobilization across the world. Whereas in other places where we have had this kind of response, let's take, for instance, the case of Iraq, the first war against Saddam Hussein, you not only had a unified communication strategy, even the media that went for this operation were embedded. That's when the whole concept of embedded reporting, so that they are not on their own reporting whatever that is, the managed communication that came out that everybody filtered through. Then you have the current situation to where, because of election promise, we were given a 6-month period that Boko Haram will be dealt with from May 29 when the government came in, which was almost like the Jonathan 6 weeks, let's say, timeline I will deal with. And we know that we're dealing with a group that we cannot say with certainty that we can defeat them. You can degrade them, you can take territories that they occupied away from them, but you can't stop them from all these hit and run type of attack. So before putting out that information, it should have been weighed by all people who have
about that
knowledge
6
of
months.
it.